The Brooklyn Nets, currently as constructed, will not win an NBA championship. But I know that's a hot take, so let me welcome you guys to the channel. It's your boy David from NBA Knowledge, and today we're going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets and their defensive struggles and why I believe it will lead to their downfall. Make sure you drop a like on this video if you enjoy it, comment your opinions. I know a lot of people will disagree and have a mix of opinions, so make sure you're vocal about all of that stuff down in the comment section. But without further ado, let's get started with this video. Currently, the Brooklyn Nets are the most historic offense in the history of basketball. They lead all offensive categories in the league, and on the all-time scale, they are number one in every single statistical category. And it's a testament to their big three in Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. On one hand, you have James Harden, who has taken the step back on the offensive side of the ball with his shots, as he's focused more on being a playmaker, currently averaging 24, 12, and 8 for them on 48, 39, and also 89 shooting splits. Harden has been phenomenal and has been a triple-double machine for the Brooklyn Nets since his debut. Then you have Kyrie Irving, who's averaging 28, 6, and 5, doing it on efficient shooting splits of 54% from the field, nearly 45% from behind the arc, and 95% at the free throw line. He has continued to be the offensive superstar that he is, and we all know he can be. Then you have the one and only 7-foot Slim Reaper coming off of an Achilles injury, and he's come back averaging 31 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, a block and a half, shooting 53% from the field, 45% from behind the arc, and 88% from the free throw line. This season is easily one of his best seasons to date, and you can pick and choose whichever season you want to put at the top, but you could argue if he continues this pace, this will be his best season ever, especially considering the context around it, coming back from an Achilles tear, which many people thought it could have been a career-altering injury, and to most people outside of Dominique Wilkins, it has been. But because KD's skill will never age despite any type of obstacles thrown its way, KD looks better than ever. And even outside of those guys, they may not have the depth that a lot of great teams have, but when you have those 3 stars paired with a shooter like Joe Harris, who's known as one of the best shooters in the entire NBA, then no shit, their offense is going to be one of the greatest offenses, if not the greatest offense in the history of basketball. And by all the numbers, that's what they are. But the issue is on the defensive side, as statistically they've been also the most historically worst defense in the history of basketball. So they go out there and they can score 150 points, but they're going to give up 152. And night after night after night, their best solution to their defensive struggles is to just ball on the offensive side. And with their head coach being Steve Nash, the assistant being Mike D'Antoni, it's no wonder why they think like that, as D and D'Antoni does not stand for defense, and Steve Nash echoed that during their time together with the Phoenix Suns. Since the James Harden trade, they are dead last in opponents' points per game, dead last in defensive rating, and statistically, they are the worst in those stats in the history of basketball. So this is the worst defense that we have ever seen, and them giving up Jarrett Allen in the paint and forcing DeAndre Jordan to be their full-time center and Jeff Green to be their backup 5, that was a terrible decision, as they are bottom 5 in points per game in the paint, and they are also top 5 in most allowed open threes. They are one of the worst defensive teams I have ever seen in my entire life. And the thing with this team is that when you look throughout the entire Eastern Conference, you have juggernauts in the paint. That's my concern. You have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's one of the biggest freaks we've ever seen, as he's called quote-unquote the Greek freak. Then you have Joel Embiid, who's having an MVP caliber season, and not only do you have to worry about Embiid to dominate in the paint, but you also have Ben Simmons, who feasts in the post because we know he can't do anything else. Then you go outside of the East. Let's say they make it out, they get to the finals. More than likely, they're going to have to face the Los Angeles Lakers with 2 juggernaut paint players, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. AD can even stretch it out and make threes, and then you're going to have to force DeAndre Jordan to move out of the paint And who's going to stop LeBron? Absolutely no one. And when DeAndre Jordan has to guard the perimeter and Anthony Davis, because I assume they're going to put AD at the 5 to force DeAndre Jordan to go out and guard the 3-point shots, he's going to get tired. DeAndre Jordan is old. He cannot be playing heavy minutes. So imagine the toll that's going to be on his body, having to potentially face Embiid and Giannis just to get to the finals, and then he's going to have to deal with Anthony Davis. The Brooklyn Nets have set themselves up in a position to where, as they're constructed as we speak, they are not going to win a championship. They will be lucky to get out of the Eastern Conference, because at the end of the day, defense wins championships. And I'll give you an example. The 2017 Cleveland Cavaliers were one of the best offenses of all time, but because of inconsistent defense from a lot of their role players such as J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, Tristan Thompson, and even Kyrie Irving and LeBron James at times, you could see that they were just never going to win a championship. It wasn't just the fact that they had Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors to worry about, but they could not guard a parked car. And in the finals, they were torched time in and time out every single possession. I even had to go back and look at all the teams that have won championships since the year 2000. Only one team placed outside of the top half in points per game from the opponent and defensive rating, and that was the 2000 Los Angeles Lakers. And outside of those years, you could even go as far as back to the 80s. You can't find many teams, if any, that finished outside of the top half in any defensive metric of any major sort. So the Brooklyn Nets right now, when they say defense wins championships, sure, they're going to out-talent a lot of people in the East, but the fact that they're losing to teams like the Wizards, and they're also losing to teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers twice back-to-back, I might add, making Colin Sexton look like Steph Curry, just shows that defense right now is not a priority for them. And maybe they're going to add a piece. There's been a lot of rumors that Andre Drummond is going to be bought out before the end of the season. That could be a nice player that they add, but at the end of the day, Drummond is not going to fix all of their defensive problems. He will help, he'll give them a presence in the paint down low, but regardless, this team needs Jesus to fix this defense. And I highly recommend that James Harden needs to start trying on that side of the ball, because I've been hearing for years that Harden is a good defender when he shows effort. Well, where is the effort so far this year? Because he has not been showing that effort. He's been chilling and relaxing, and I know that Mike D'Antoni does not care about defense. You know, Steve Nash never made defense a priority throughout his NBA career, but that still should not be the mindset when you're coaching a team that has very similar aspects to the team that you played on, and your team never even made the finals when you were with the Phoenix Suns, despite all the talent that you had around you. And what was the biggest reason why? Because y'all couldn't play defense, or should I say you and Amari Stoudemire. You left that to Sean Marion and Raja Bell. But even on this Nets team, who's the Sean Marion? Who's the Raja Bell? Who's going to play defense to make up for the defensive lapses of all of their major stars? The only solid, capable defender that they have is Kevin Durant, and he can only do so much, especially considering the task that he has on the offensive side of the ball. So yeah, defense wins championships, and unless the Nets can gain that overnight, I don't see a championship coming to Brooklyn anytime soon as far as this season goes. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of you guys will have a mix of opinions down below in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think down there. Also, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, hit the bell for post notifications. This is your boy David from NBA Knowledge signing out. Y'all stay safe. Peace.